Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to this Around the Ropes radio show for this Wednesday night. Now, guys, you guys know we're in the process of kind of looking ahead towards Flex Wrestling as they debut on September 26th. And obviously, you guys just saw in our most recent episode, we had Sean Carr on. But now we're going to actually have a lot of the talent. And for the first time, one half of CXR, I already told him he was my tag team for last year. One half of one of the best tag teams in upstate New York. Chael Conors joins us. Chael, welcome to the show. How you been, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. Hard to put into words. Very, very excited, right? We're trying to spread the good news. We got Flex Wrestling coming up.
Absolutely. We'll get into Flex Wrestling, obviously, and I know you have the big match coming up against Mike Skyro, so we'll definitely get into that. But before we get into that, though, what got you into pro wrestling? Was there a moment, a match?
Yeah, I wish I had that definitive moment that you never forget, and you just knew that for the rest of your life, that was the thing. But earliest memories was just Monday nights. If uh, if John Cena was in the main event, that's how long I was allowed to stay up on Mondays to watch wrestling. So that's it started off. It was just something I'd watch with my mom, and as I got older, it was just still the coolest thing in the world, and never grown out of it.
So now, when did you finally decide, do you remember when you were kind of like, okay, I kind of want to go into this and actually do what guys like John Cena and Randy Orton do?
Uh, Man, I think I might have started watching wrestling 7 or 8 years old. So it was always a thought. Like I really, really want to do it. But I think I must have been 16, flipping through channels on a Saturday night, discovered Ring of Honor, and it was Young Bucks versus Red Dragon, but they had Tom Lawler in their corner. Um, and watching that match was the definitive, this is not I'm pretty sure, this is a definite, I'm gonna try to do this. That really solidified the whole thing for me.
Now, when you got into it, did you want to be a singles wrestler or was it tag team wrestling that you wanted to be in?
So I mean, I've always loved all kinds of wrestling, but I mean, even before I was, doing a little bit of both, I've always thought tag team wrestling is the best wrestling. I don't know, what it is, but that's just something that I connected with the most. That was always my favorite, and I think, early 2010, 2011 TNA,
Okay.
seeing all the teams there, Motor City Machine Guns are my
Yeah.
absolute favorite. So being able to see them from such a young age and still to this day, I don't know, tag team wrestling's always been my preferred, not only to just
Now,
watch, but of course do.
no, I get what you're saying. Obviously, a lot of people know of you and your tag partner there, TJ Epic, CXR. How did that come to fruition? Were you guys friends beforehand? Walk us through the early days of CXR.
Yeah. At the time, I was training in the Flower City Wrestling Academy, and they would just like Ground Zero does, there would be tapings once a month.
Mm.
So I was only a few months in, but we're doing these tapings, and I'm hearing all this talk about oh, there's some Loke guys coming up. They're gonna have a match on the tapings. Okay. So they get there, and the two guys that show up, Adon Allen and TJ, had never met him, didn't know about each other at all. But through this match, TJ proceeds to do three, four, five of the same exact moves that I do, and he would come up kind of frequently when he wasn't training with Loke or wherever else. He'd come to Flower City, and it didn't take long. It got decided that we do a lot of the same stuff, and at the time, I had I'll say full head of hair to be generous to myself, but we looked a lot more similar than maybe like we do now. So, you know, it was a pretty natural thing. Like, yeah, you guys are a team.
Now, when you guys started off together, and I was telling you before we went live, I remember a lot of your legendary matches at Immortal, with Edge of Hope, Bid and Blaze, Power Supply. Did you guys know when you guys first started tagging together that you guys were going to become such an iconic team in upstate New York wrestling?
Honestly, at the start, it was just like, okay, um, if we're a team and that's what they want for UPW, which is where we started teaming, then like, okay, that's get in where you fit in. This is how we carve in spots on a show. So let's just make it work the best we can. But I mean, it's crazy to, if you watch us now, you wouldn't think, but it definitely took a while before like some natural chemistry kind of started to form. We didn't like hit it off. It wasn't magic, from the very first moment that we tried the team.
No, I get that. And like I was saying before, going back to, when you guys were, I'm not saying you're not prominent now in Immortal, but, before you took the hiatus, let me put it that way. Because then you guys took a pretty long hiatus. And it was something that you mentioned before. Obviously, you also have the Nachi Mafia included in that as well. What was it like, being in so, I mean, we always talk about how, certain titles have a lot of competition. You talk about that couple of months run in the tag team division for Immortal. I mean, that was probably some of the most fierce competition I've ever seen. What was it like, with you guys, knowing that you guys were going out there and you guys were putting on matches of the night, I felt like.
I mean, that's always been the goal. And coming up around teams, pretty much every show we were at, we were seeing high seas or to infinity and beyond, and of course Edge of Hope was like a red hot thing as soon as that started. But yeah, I don't know. We always had the confidence that like we can definitely be like the thing people are talking about when they go home. Um, and I guess that's kind of always been the goal, right? Like just put on a solid performance, leave no doubt. Like we're we're here to stay, right? Obviously, anywhere we go, like we want to be invited back.
Absolutely.
And fortunate enough for us, that's been the case just about everywhere.
Now, let me ask you this, though. Obviously, you guys have faced a lot of the best tag teams in upstate wrestling. Obviously, we mentioned a lot of them before. If you had to think about it now, who would be some of your more favorite teams that you guys went up against?
Uh, People are very fond of the never-ending CXR Edge of Hope rivalry. Um, I could do without it, but I know that that's not going to happen. We're going to wrestle 101 more times. Um, yeah, like I mean, high seas to infinity and beyond. That's always a treat. Um, I got a feeling we're going to have a lot more matches with Prime Time. Um, Very fond of them, and as good as they are, they're just a little over a year in. Like that's probably going to be along the same lines of Edge of Hope. We're probably going to wrestle them, forever.
Well, let me ask you this now. Is there a tag team in upstate, or not even just upstate, just in the East Coast that you haven't faced yet that you guys would love to be in the ring with?
Yeah, we've been really fortunate to have at least one match with some of the big indie tag teams. Um, but you know, fairly new, but I mean they're making waves. From the moment they won the GCW tag titles, Busta in the Brain, Alec Price, Jordan Oliver, like that's something I just gotta have happen. Like that's my number one match I think that I want out of out of anybody on the Indies.
Now, obviously, like I said, a lot of people know of you being the tag team wrestler, so to speak. Do you looking at it now that you've been doing that for some time? Do you prefer to be the singles star, or do you prefer to be the tag team?
Um, I mean, like aside from wrestling, I kind of just have this feeling of like, how good is anything if you can't share it with your friends? So to be able to travel and new places, new experiences, um, it's really great to have one of your absolute best friends by your side, right? And tag team wrestling is my favorite wrestling. Um, so I mean, if I gotta pick one or the other, but that's not to say that a lot of the single stuff. Chances are that I'm going to be doing with Flex that I've done at Ground Zero and recently like at Excite. Um, it's refreshing, right? Because there were stretches where maybe I had 3 or 4 singles matches in a whole year, and the rest was just CXR, which I never hated, but if it can be fresh, if there's some variety in the wrestling that I'm doing, like I'm all for it.
No, I totally get that. Now, obviously, there's quite a few other tag teams. I think another tag team that I would love for you guys that CXR I think would be great with is Corey Jackson and Ting, but I don't think they're tagging anymore though.
Not that I've seen recently. I think there might have been like 2 times at Excite where it was just straight up CXR in black and yellow, but
Like yeah,
we've had a couple of like triple threat tags, or maybe we've been involved in 8-man tags. Um, but it's been a while, right? Like we're a lot better now than what we were back then, and I would imagine the same applies for those two.
well, let me ask you this: though. Are there any companies, either in New York or wherever in indie wrestling, that you and TJ would love to dip your toes into that you haven't?
Uh, the list of places that we wouldn't work is a lot shorter than the places that we would. Um, we're very open to possibilities, but I mean, like Wrestling Open, Beyond, um, Blitzkrieg, Grind. I mean, the list goes on. If I try to list off all the ones that I've been eyeballing, right, I'm gonna leave a handful out. So I mean, we're open to going just about anywhere. I mean,
Because I know there's a promotion down in Jersey. I think you guys would be great in called Bray Combination.
yeah. TJ is very thinks very highly of the Jersey scene. Would love to get out there. I'm definitely not opposed to it, but New Jersey traffic is something that
I,
I'm not the biggest fan of.
oh, I
But
get it. Trust me.
comes with the territory, right? We've been around Jersey quite a bit. We would have no problem, being there a lot more.
I totally get that. But I want to look ahead now. Obviously, September 26th, Flex Wrestling makes its debut. And you got a pretty big match coming up against somebody who has been to the top of the top, like an immortal, who is going through a weird phase right now of weird face paint. And that's
Yeah.
Mike Styros. What were your thoughts when you got told that you're going to be going into the ring with Mike on September 26th?
So the same as the few times that I've been able to have a one-on-one with him before, right? Like this is a great opportunity to prove, like, in this New York scene, but also just the indies in general, right? Like, can you hang with one of the top guys? And
Yeah.
the thing I love about wrestling Mike is it's like every time uh, he's gonna push me. I gotta always dig deep in a Mike Skyros match. Like I am forced to level up. Um, so I welcome the opportunity anytime I get to have a one-on-one with him.
Now, obviously, like I said before, we just had Sean Carr on, and he was talking very highly of you. How does it make you feel when you have Flex Management wanting to see how you do as a single star and not going the same route of putting you right into the tag team?
Yeah, I mean, anybody that's been around as long as a Sean Carr and HC Loke, you name it. Like, um, starting out, you got to work for that respect. You got to get on a level field with them to where they kind of see you as like, for a real wrestler to see you as a real wrestler,
Yeah.
right? Is a great thing once you finally get to that point. And in the last few years, to have the guys that have been around forever to think as highly as they do of me is a great thing. It's really hard to put in words other than that I super appreciate it, right? But it's also a little bit of pressure, not in a bad way, but you want to rise to the occasion. You want to reassure them that they're making the right decisions. So I welcome that.
Well, I was going to say, knowing that, with what Sean just said in the previous interview, does that add a little bit more pressure to you? And I know there's no title on the line, but does that add a little bit more pressure, being that, okay, you've done more of the tag team stuff than the single stuff, and Flex Management is basically sitting there going, no, we want to see how you do as singles because we think you could be one of the next big stars. Does that add a little bit of pressure?
Yeah, I mean it's flattering for sure, but it's also like, okay, I mean, Sean Carr's been in there with the best, right? So if he thinks that I'm maybe, on the surface of getting to that level, or maybe I can one day be at that level, I want to make that clear to him, make that clear to myself that like, yeah, that's the right decision. And in the last year or so, I've done a lot more single stuff, but it's still uncharted territory in a lot of ways. Like a world championship caliber match or main eventing shows, one on one, still a fairly new thing to me, and terrifying but exciting, right? All the good, all the bad, and I I really want to see, right? Not only prove to him, prove to myself, like that's a spot you can put me in, and I can handle it.
I, I definitely think you can. Obviously, like I said, I've seen you wrestle now quite a bit. Obviously, with more with on the tag team side, but I think going back to what you said before though about how it's uncharted territories. I think the only reason, and again, I could be totally wrong on this, but I think the only reason why you kind of feel that way is you know you sort of have this thing of when you hear Channel Connors, you automatically assume CXR. It's like they automatically go, "Oh, he's the tag team guy."
Yeah,
And don't get me wrong, you look at some of the greatest wrestlers who wrestled in WWE, a lot of them were the tag team guy for the most part. I mean, you look at some great name, Bret Hart. He was tag team for a while. I mean, you look at another one. Look at the Dudleys, Bubba Ray, for example. Same thing. He was so it's not that tough to kind of get that. But I see where you're coming from, though. That that it's uncharted territories. I totally see where you're coming from with that.
yeah. I never take offense to like, oh, the guy from the tag team. I mean, if you're recognized or people like remember you, right? That's ultimately the goal. But like, it's not I don't feel like I'm in this shadow that I got to get out of if people think of me as a tag team wrestler. I have no problem with that because like I said, that is my favorite type of wrestling, but of course it's like I can knock it out of the park in this kind of wrestling, but let me show you that like, hey, on my own, I might be my own thing, right? It's almost like a whole different flavor of ice cream. It's a new thing, right? Like, see if you like this too.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But got a couple questions left before we wrap things up. Now, I always ask the question about who would be your dream opponent, but I'm going to ask it to you in a different way though, because of the fact that you do the single stuff and you do the tag team stuff. I'm going to sort of ask you it in both ways. Who would be your dream singles opponent, and who would be your dream tag team opponent?
Ooh. Well, what kind of restrictions do I have on this? Are we keeping this strictly the indies, or is this just like the
Everything,
broadest net?
everything.
Ah, It's got to be like Motor City Machine Guns, Young Bucks, right? In terms of like a tag team.
Yeah.
Singles is like, um, I have never wrestled Alec Price in any capacity. Um, and then when I think about, day one favorite wrestlers, um, right? Rey Mysterio, CM Punk, John Cena would be the craziest, right? Like that was my guy. All the shirts, all the hats, like anything John Cena could be on, he was on, that I had growing up. So I guess that would have to be the answer.
And then last question I got: dream venue to do a match in would be what?
Oh, I feel like MSG is going to come to mind for just about anybody. Um, and I know I should probably be thinking like larger scale, but if you've ever been to or seen like Buffalo River Works, it's a privilege anytime we get to be there for ESW. Um, it's the coolest thing in the world to me when I get to wrestle in Hornell a couple times a year at the YMCA there. Like that's just a great atmosphere. Um, I guess I haven't really put enough thought into like a dream place to wrestle, but I mean anywhere that'll have me, right? Like
I
I'm pretty
totally get you.
satisfied and flattered by that.
But again, Channel, I appreciate you coming on tonight. It means a lot. Definitely want to have you back on again. And before we let you go, what else do you have coming up other than Flex? And you always give the information one more time for the show for Flex. Go right ahead.
Yeah, this weekend I'm hopping in with TJ Epics and Ash Bennett. We're gonna take a little trip. Uh, got a couple of shows around like the Georgia, Alabama area. So that's two new states that I've been in. Um, XI Wrestling in Hornell. Those are the more recent ones. I would have to like dig through a calendar to find any more upcoming dates. But September 26th, right? Flex. Um, been thinking about it since it was announced. Big match with Mike Skyros. Let's set the bar, do things right the very first night, and build the momentum, keep it going from there.
Absolutely. But again, Chell, also before we let you go, where can the fans connect with you on social media?
Yeah, Chael Conors. I made it real simple, like all lowercase. That's Facebook, that's X, Instagram. Got a YouTube channel, right? Matches, promos, highlight reels. You know, come find me.
Absolutely. And I wish you all the luck in the match with Mike coming up the end of September. Definitely want to have you back on again afterwards just to kind of get your thoughts on that match.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you making the time. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, guys. For Chael Conors, I'm John. But don't worry, guys, because we have a lot more guys coming up from Flex, including Colton Allen, Maddock, and Sarah Rain next week. But, guys, we are out of here. Again, guys, follow Flex on Facebook, follow Around the Ropes on Facebook, and we'll catch you guys next time.